first up get you the pictures that are coming in of the arrival of Prime Minister Narendra Modi at the residence of late former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. As far as remembering the former Prime Minister, the Prime Minister had put up a lengthy post where he had regarded when it comes to the work and the contributions that has been done by Dr. Manmohan Singh as India mourns the loss of one of the most distinguished leaders and rising from humble origins. Mohit, who is getting us the live pictures right now from the national capital, as the Prime Minister remembers the former Prime Minister Mohit, saying that he rose to become a respected economist.
Well, Amita, yes, in fact, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi put out a long tweet yesterday and he shared pictures of him with Dr. Manmohan Singh, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke about, and I would like to read from that particular tweet because it shows that how much respect Prime Minister had for Manmohan Singh. Politics aside, there is a personal life of these politicians too, and in that particular matter, this tweet is also very important. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi stated that Dr. Manmohan Singh served in various government positions as well, including as Finance Minister, leaving a strong imprint on our economy policy for over the years. His interventions in Parliament were also insightful. As a Prime Minister, he made extensive efforts to improve people's life, and also he shared certain pictures with former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh, and including the pictures when he was the Chief Minister. So clearly we see that how the respect, the tribute are pouring in from all the circles. As we speak, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has reached the residence of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and people like Dr. Manmohan Singh are rare to find in Indian politics, specifically when it comes to, you see his portfolio, you see all his degrees, you see his education. It's very rare to find such a man, and with such humility he has served the country. He has been with the Planning Commission, he has been the governor of the RBI, he has been the Prime Minister, Finance Minister, leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha. So look at this particular portfolio. You don't see such kind of portfolio, extensive portfolio for a politician in our country. It's very rare, and hence Dr. Manmohan Singh is remembered by all his political rivals too as somebody who always spoke to them, even if they were criticizing him. He used to smile, he used to speak about it, he used to make various interventions in the Parliament, and we know that how, again,
Just quickly describing the pictures that are coming in, Mohit, from inside the residence of Dr. Manmohan Singh as his mortal remains that were shifted last evening from the All India Institute of Medical Sciences to his residence, where his mortal remains are being kept there, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi paying his tributes, paying his respects to the former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. What is being said as far as the centre has declared a 7-day mourning period, and also when it comes to the flags that have now been flown at half-mast, all of the government programs today that stand cancelled. Similar announcement also being made on the part of the Congress party as well, and extending his condolences to the family of late Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh. We are also looking at the pictures of the Union Home Minister Amit Shah also present at the residence of the former Prime Minister. Yes, Mohit, please to continue speaking to us as we stay with the pictures that are coming in. Union Minister J.P. Nadda also present.
Well, yes, Amita, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as of now, what we can see in these visuals, is meeting the family members of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and in the pictures we can also see Home Minister Amit Shah paying his respects, homage to Dr. Manmohan Singh. J.P. Nadda, BJP President, is also there, and interestingly, usually we don't see the Home Minister and J.P. Nadda traveling together in the same car because there's a certain portfolio, but we saw that how J.P. Nadda, BJP President, and Home Minister Amit Shah went in the same car to the residence of Dr. Manmohan Singh, and as we speak, we see that the top leaders of the BJP, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, J.P. Nadda, are paying the respects to Dr. Manmohan Singh. And as we were speaking about it, that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself some time back has spoken about Dr. Manmohan Singh, that Dr. Manmohan Singh knew about his constitutional responsibility as a parliamentarian, and hence, while there was a voting going on in the parliament, Dr. Manmohan Singh went into a wheelchair. He was not keeping well for some time, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi praised this, that this is the way that everybody should conduct themselves. And as we were speaking earlier, that Dr. Manmohan Singh is regarded as one of the finest Indian economist. We know that how there were troubles in the Indian economy in 92, 91. He became the finance minister. He took out of India out of that particular mess under P.V. Narasimha Rao, who was the then prime minister. And then he was the leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha, and as we speak, we see that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi is still there at the residence of Dr. Manmohan Singh. He is there with the family of Dr. Manmohan Singh. Now, what we are being told is that Dr. Manmohan Singh's daughter, who lives in United States, she is all set to land in Delhi in the evening, and perhaps the sources within the Congress say that the last rites will take place tomorrow. For today, the mortal remains will be there at the residence, so that all the leaders from across the party line, the friends, the near and dears, will come and visit the house of Dr. Manmohan Singh. So these visuals are very important, because we have seen in the past too that how in political parties we see that allegations coming in back and forth. We see that how the politics is being played on every issue. But then this is the other side of the politicians. That Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Amit Shah, JP Nadda, in the morning they have gone to the residence of Dr. Manmohan Singh, because he was regarded as one of the finest politicians in the country. He used to take the criticism. He used to speak about all the issues. He used to also interact with the opposition leaders. So we know that how this is the face of the Indian politics that needs to be shown, that how, irrespective of the ideology difference you have, irrespective of the fact that what problems you have with your political opponent, you always go there when there is a need. And this is a moment where we see that how Prime Minister has gone inside. And remember, JP Nadda, the BJP president and former and Union Health Minister, was one of the first leaders from across the party lines who went to AIIMS yesterday as soon as we got the news that former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh is ill. He is in a serious condition, admitted to the AIIMS hospital, and hence JP Nadda was one of the first respondents. So when such a situation comes, now the politics is being kept aside, and we have seen that how Prime Minister Narendra Modi has also praised Dr. Manmohan Singh. So this is the moment.
So pictures that are now coming in after paying his respects. We are looking at the pictures now of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who is leaving from the residence of Dr. Manmohan Singh, as far as condolences that he also gave to the family of the former Prime Minister. Pictures that also came in of Union Home Minister Amit Shah and Union Minister JP Nadda also being present at the residence of the late Prime Minister. Ashwini Kumarji is joining us here on the broadcast as we remember the life and times of Dr. Manmohan Singh. Ashwini ji, welcome, sir. You've served in Dr. Singh's cabinet as a Minister for Law and Justice. How would you describe him? As you said, and you've been talking about him being an exceptional exponent of decency.
Well, Dr. Manmohan Singh was an exceptional individual in every sense of the term, not only for his intellect, for his wisdom, for his grace, but also for his humanity and also for his sincerity of purpose and warmth. In every meeting which I had the privilege and honor of having with him, I came back ennobled. His mere presence touched you with his nobility, and that really was the mark of the man. He was humble in power. He was gracious to the point of a fault. And as I said earlier, whenever I would go and see him in his Parliament House office, he would insist on seeing me out till his door, till a point came when I had to literally hold his hand and requested him not to get up from his seat, because he was now the Prime Minister, and protocol demanded that we don't expect him at the door. But that was him. He once drove his own Maruti car in the absence of his driver to Parliament House. But of course, that was when he was leader of the opposition and not Prime Minister. But to come to the substance of the matter, not only was he humble in power, but he never ever sought limelight. The most remarkable achievements of India, whether it was in the form of the RTI, whether it was in the form of Manrega, whether it was in the form of the most extensive budgetary outlays for the education or health, they all came during his lifetime and finally during his term. And finally, the Indo-US civil nuclear deal. He staked the office of the Prime Minister. He staked his position as Prime Minister so that he could do what he thought was right by the nation. And history has, as he prophesied, during his own lifetime in one of his press conferences, has in fact judged him more kindly than the media of the day. His humility, his simplicity was mistaken as weakness, far from truth. He had, as somebody said, a calm exterior but a steely interior. He was a man of few words, but a man who meant every word that he said. But more than anything else, I know how concerned he was about the personal situation of his colleagues. He reached out to them in their moment of difficulty. I remember in the last days when my wife was about to leave this world, he rang me up and said, miracles are known to happen. It was such a soothing statement coming from the Prime Minister to his colleague who was about to lose his wife. Dr. Manmohan Singh is someone whose loss can never, ever be compensated for. He has left a void. His departure has left a void in India's politics. The Congress party is poorer by his absence. So is the nation.
Well, Dr. Kumar, as you're remembering Dr. Singh for his, being in a steely resolve, but being a silent reformer, and his quiet dignity and determination, do you believe that were evident, especially when it comes to the passage of the Indo-US civil nuclear deal? Because despite pressure from the allies, he remained resolute when it comes to matters of national interest.
Yes, indeed. And that is why I said he had a steely interior. He made it publicly known that he will not remain prime minister if he cannot do what is right by the nation. And at that point of time, he thought that Indo-US civil nuclear deal was a way out for India's nuclear appetite. And he said that the development goals set by the United Nations of sustainable development cannot be completed without access to civil nuclear energy. He was a visionary. He was his quiet dignity, of course, is known to all. But there was not a single subject that I recall having been discussed in his presence on which he was not the final authority. I remember I used to answer parliament questions on his behalf when I was a Minister of State in the Planning Department, of which the Prime Minister is always the cabinet minister, but it is the Minister of State who's tasked with the responsibility of answering questions relating to the planning department. And we used to sit with him in the morning for the briefing of the questions by the officers. And he would always wish to give credit to the officers and to the minister for the briefing, whereas he knew every single thing about the subject under discussion. And he would sometimes tell me after the briefing conference was over that this was the right approach to take to this question. There was hardly any subject of any consequence on which he did not have the final word, not as Prime Minister, but in terms of his wisdom and knowledge of that subject. And Indo-US civil nuclear deal will remain one of his monumental achievements in the interest of the nation, and a grateful nation will remain always indebted to him for his outstanding leadership in very trying circumstances.
Dr. Kumar, do you believe that, history will judge Dr. Singh favorably now for his contributions to the nation during his 10-year tenure?
Yes, indeed. He had himself prophesied in one of his press conferences, which you would recall, when he had said that history would judge him more kindly. I have no doubt that within few hours of his passing, history is turning the page and beginning to judge him more kindly, the way it should be. He deserved the respect of the nation. He deserves the affection of the nation. And I'm sure not only will he get respect and affection from his own nation and from his own people, but also from across the world. His appreciation, the tributes to him that are coming, transcend political divides and transcend continents. He was indeed an outstanding man, and India is privileged to have him had as their Prime Minister.
Dr. Ashwini Kumar, thank you very much for joining us here on the broadcast. And of course, as Dr. Kumar has also been highlighting, that Dr. Singh's warmth and generosity, if Dr. Kumar, if you're still connected with us, can you also highlight, especially when it comes to his behavior with his opponents is also concerned, because not only he was towards the friends, but also when it comes to the political opponents, how his behavior was as something that has been remembered time and again?
Well, I can give you straight away an instance. So there were some people within the cabinet who are not making the right noises about their own prime minister. And some of us went to him and said that he must discipline his own ministers because that is not creating a very good image in the public. He pondered for a moment and he said, I do not want to be a principal or a principal or a teacher in a class. They are, after all, my colleagues. And if they don't think that they should restrain themselves, I am not going to crack the whip on them. This was the man's humility. This was his grace. He would let his pleasure and displeasure be known very mildly, very softly, and those who knew him would take the hint. But those who thought that they could disregard him went their own way. But he never held anything against anyone in his heart and his mind. That was him. It was quintessentially him. And there was nothing that the office of the Prime Minister could do to change the man, the great man that Dr. Manmohan Singh was. He elevated himself above his exalted office by virtue of his conduct, by virtue of his integrity, by virtue of his high sense of rectitude and excellence in whatever he did.
Well, Dr. Kumar, thank you very much for giving us your time and talking at length at the legacy that is now being left behind by Dr. Manmohan Singh, his leadership that was marked by magnanimity, integrity and humility. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Well, also introducing Mr. N.V. Subhash, grandson of the former Prime Minister P.V. Narasimha Rao, joining us here on the broadcast. Dr. Ramakant Panda, also the chairman and the chief cardiac surgeon, Asian Heart Institute, Mumbai, joining us here on the broadcast. Mr. Subhash, as we talk and remember Dr. Manmohan Singh, the time when he was the finance minister in P.V. Narasimha Rao's government from 1991 to 1996, having an impressive resume, having been the RBI governor. As far as the CEA in 1970s, he would go on then to serve as the Indian Prime Minister for 10 years, 2004 to 2014. How do you remember him today?
Yeah, first of all, we would like to pay, the condolences and a tribute to Dr. Manmohan Singh, who happens to be our family friend also and very close to my grandfather, Mr. Narasimha Rao. And we are really deeply shocked to hear the news. Amita, let me tell you one story that which really happened when I was in US along with my grandfather, who was having the bypass surgery. At that time, he was not even an MP, and then he was about to retire, and then he had the surgery, and then many people came to see him. One of the person who came to just see him has asked that, why don't you become Prime Minister, because you have served so much, in the cabinet, in Indira Gandhi's cabinet and Rajiv Gandhi's cabinet, and what should you do for the country? Then he just waited for some time, and then he said that once I become the Prime Minister, if I become Prime Minister, definitely I will change the economy of this country, and the people who are in US, definitely they will come to India, and then they will invest. And then he said that I have a very good friend, Dr. Singh. We don't know, we used to call him Dr. Singh. That's it, not Manmohan Singh. And he's my very good friend. And then I'll make him as the finance advisor, not the prime, the minister, but it was, the just advisor. And then we too will definitely change the economy on that. So, in 1991, when Mr. Narasimha Rao has become the Prime Minister, and it was actually the choice was for the Pranab Mukherjee to become the finance minister. But I don't know what happened. Then Dr. Manmohan Singh has become the finance minister. And then we were really shocked to see Dr. Manmohan Singh as, the finance minister. He was not as, Rajya Sabha member or Lok Sabha member, so do as my grandfather. But the due change in the economy, a bureaucrat turned politician, we can see the decency of...
Absolutely, the humility, and he is often known as the silent reformer, as the Mr. N.V. Subhash and Dr. Panda continue to be with us, remembering Dr. Singh, who is often credited for opening Indian economy to the global competition. He has become India's path-breaking finance minister who heralded game-changing economic reform, and then as a prime minister who shepherded the crucial India-US nuclear deal. We'll continue to talk with our guests, but